Well, I was diagnosed in 2015, just before I was 41. It was a complete surprise. I had been having difficulty with my vision, so I had been to the optician. And at that point we thought I had fluid on my eyes, which at the time I thought was the worst thing ever. So I kind of got into the cancer system in a strange way because I ended up at the RVI having eye investigations. And so when the word cancer was mentioned, it was just a complete and utter shock. I hadn't had any symptoms at all. There was then a period of maybe about 4 weeks whilst I was waiting for diagnosis, having various tests and things. And it took a little bit longer maybe because the tumour, I have lung cancer. The tumour was behind my heart, so it wasn't completely visible on the initial X-ray that I had. And unfortunately, by the time I was diagnosed, I already had secondary. So I had it on my liver and on the backs of my eyes. I then came here and met the team here, so you get a pre-assessment. And it's probably next to being told you've got cancer, it's probably the next most terrifying thing because you've already got a vision of what chemotherapy is. And you're just hearing the worst things all of the time. So it's just terrifying. But right from the outset, Debbie, the nurse that I met at the time, put us at ease, and you get to see around the ward. And immediately you get the feel that you're coming to hospital, but it's not like a hospital. So that was a nice feel straight away. And on that day, that was all it was. Meet the staff, see the place, go away. So we did that, and then at the time the plan was to have IV chemotherapy, and I would have 6 rounds of it, but because I remained really quite well with it and my cancer was staying stable, in consultation with my oncologist, she put forward that I would continue to keep having it until I was poorly with it, I guess. And then by the time kind of my bloods were starting to be affected by the chemo, I'd had other tests, biopsies and things, where we found out that I've got a genetic mutation. It's called ALK positive, and that opened up a whole raft of new drugs that I could take that had come through trial. So I now have my chemotherapy in the form of tablets. So I take them every day. I get scanned every 3 to 4 months, and if there's a change, then we change drugs. I think probably I'm going to be maybe a bit unfair towards men, but I think for women, I'm going to lose all of my hair. My children were very young when I was diagnosed. They were only 5 and 7. And I thought, well, that would be a really visible thing for the boys to see, even though I had decided at that point that I wouldn't tell them. So I was worried about that. And then I was just worried that as a single parent, I wouldn't be able to function, that I would just be in bed poorly. So I think they were the 2 main things, and just the apprehension of what it would be when I came to have it, just like I suppose with anything new that you've never had. But as it came to pass, when I came, I found out, that no, I wouldn't lose my hair with the type I was on. And then once I had had my first round of chemotherapy, my body kind of got into a pattern. So I knew that on day 3, I would have this pain or I would feel this way. And I got into a pattern of it. But I was also really quite lucky in that my side effects were quite minimal, and that was a relief. I kind of picked up on that within a couple of sessions. I would say to somebody coming, your mind is in shock, you've had the worst news that you could possibly have, but the people on this ward will look after you. They absolutely will. And even though you've had that worst diagnosis, it won't feel like that once you're here. You'll just feel as though you're coming to meet friends and they will get you through your treatment, and they will just get you through each day, come whatever comes on your journey, and they will always be looking out for your best interests. So if something doesn't quite go right, they're one step ahead of you, working it out for you. So don't panic, they're here for you.